Hey guys, and welcome to tutorial number 20. And in this tutorial we're going to take a look at classes and IDs. Okay, so you can actually see here we've got just a normal paragraph with some text in it and some span tags in here. Here in our CSS file we've actually got no code, so you can see it's blank, and also in our browser you can see that we're just having normal text here. And if you take a look at our HTML5 here, you can actually see this text surrounded in spans, and here in our text editor you can see they're actually appearing in different lines, but they're not actually appearing in different lines here, right? And you should actually note this, because if you've actually watched or you'll be following up this tutorial series, you should actually remember what I taught you about the break tags. And I said you can actually have elements in different lines on your text editor, but when you actually show them up in the browser, they don't actually appear in new lines. Okay, so you should actually know that if you'll be following up with the series. If you're not, please go ahead and watch the previous videos in order to be able to follow us with this video. Okay, so in this video we're going to take a look at classes and IDs, and what you're going to want to do is, okay, so here now you can see we're having hey there and a normal text, right? So, and you can actually see here it's a normal text, while here you can see I am a red text. But if you take a look at the browser here, you can see I am a red text, and this is not actually a red text, right? So let's say we wanted to go ahead and style that text and turn it into a red color. So to do that, let's go ahead and select the span. So let's just go here and say span. Okay, sorry, span. Okay, put parentheses, and here you can say color. To the color of red, right? Okay, go ahead, save this, come back here and hit refresh, and now we have all the text here being red. And why is that? You can see here we said we're having span, and all these elements are surrounded in a span tag, right? So when we went ahead and selected this color, what we actually did was we selected every single span tag here, and we outputted it as a red color, or we actually styled them with a red color. And that's not actually what we want, because here you can actually see that we're only having this text here saying I am red text. So this is the only text here actually willing to be red, right? So one thing we can actually do is we can go ahead and say, let's take this out. Go ahead and save this, come back here and refresh, and now you can see this normal text being normal, but this text are all red, and this one is actually in the right color, but these other two are in the wrong color, because here you can see but I want to be yellow, and here it says what if I want it to be green, right? Okay, so to do this, that's where the classes and ID come in, right? So first of all, let's take a look at the classes. So what we can do is we can give this an extra attribute of class. Okay, so the class attributes, so you just add it here into the element or the span you want to actually give a class. So you can go ahead and say give it a class of red. So note that to do this you can actually give this any name here, so it's not actually restricted to any name. So whatever name you like to give it, you can actually give it the name, right? So let's just go ahead and say red, because this text actually wants to be red. So now in our text editor, what you're going to want to do now is you want to actually take out this name, because if you go ahead and use this name, you're trying to style all the span tags, and what we want to actually do now is no longer style all the span tags, but we want to style a specific span tag with the name or with the class red, right? And to do this, we have to make use of a new selector, which I'm going to show you guys now, and it's called the period, right? Or you can say full stop or dot, whichever. So that's the selector we're going to use. So whenever you want to style a class, or you want to style an element with a class, you have to actually make use of a period. Then after the period, next thing you're going to type in is the name of the class you want to actually style, right? And the name of the class you want to style here is red, because this element or this tag is having a class of red. So you select that by saying the name red. So a period and the name of the class you want to style, which is red. So if I go ahead and save this now, come back to the browser, click refresh, and now you can see that we're having only this text being red color, and that's actually what we want, right? Okay, so let's take a look at this too. So let's say we wanted to go ahead and style this yellow, so we'll go ahead and do the same thing. We give this one a class and we'll say yellow. Okay, then we wanted to actually also style this one and we'll give it a class of green. Okay, green. Go ahead and save this, and now we're gonna have to select each of these ones. So let's go back here and I'll just go ahead and copy this. Okay, down. Okay, change this to yellow. Then we're gonna change the color to yellow. Okay, then this one actually wants to be green text, so we're gonna change it green. Change this to green. Okay, now go ahead and save all of this. Come back to our browser, hit refresh, and now you can see it actually worked, right? Because now we're having a normal text, and we're having this text in red color, and now we're having this text in yellow color, and this text in green color. So that's actually how you make use of classes in CSS or in HTML and styling. So you can actually select each of those span elements. So select each of them using a class. But you can actually do the same thing with IDs, right? So let's just go ahead and say change this to ID. Go ahead and save this. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. If I try to refresh this page now, you can actually see everything turned back to a normal text. And this is because right here in our text editor, what we made use of here was a selector for selecting classes. So this period symbol here is for selecting classes, and what we're having right here on our code is an ID. So to select an ID, we make use of a different symbol, which is the hash symbol, right? So the symbol directly above your number 3 on your keyboard, that's the hash symbol. So just go ahead and put in the hash symbol. Save this now, come back to your browser, click refresh, and you can see it actually works, right? So that's actually how you make use of IDs and classes. But one thing you need to know is that when making use of IDs, you have to make use of them in a specific way or in a different way from the way you make use of them in classes. Because ID, if you're having an ID or an element with an ID of red, it should actually be, that should only be the element, or that should only be the name on the page. You shouldn't give another element. So you can go ahead and say you have another element like this saying giving it the name of red, right? So you need to only have one element with the name of red. That is why it's called an ID. It's only specific to one element. Only one element on your whole page can actually have that name. So you can have two elements or two tags with the same name of red. That's actually wrong, right? But actually, if I go ahead and refresh this now, you can actually see it works. But if we go to our validator and validated this code, you would see that to actually give us an error saying we're having double ID, right? That two elements cannot actually have the same ID. And so if you're also working with JavaScript, when you try to select elements by ID, you also have an error because you can have two IDs on a page. But we can actually have two classes. So if I went ahead and say class and give this okay, so let's say a class of white, and give this another class of white. So this is actually very much acceptable, right? Because elements can have two classes. So you can have like 50 elements with the same class, the same name of class, right, on your page. So you can go ahead and do this and say all these elements, I want all of them to be having a class of white, and that is actually very okay. If you validate this code now on your HTML validator, there will be no error. But when it comes to ID, you have to only give an element one name, or each element have to have their own specific ID names. You can have two elements having the same ID names. That's actually very wrong, right? So that's actually how you make use of that. Go ahead and try and see how you can actually play around with IDs and classes, how you can actually select different elements. So you can actually do the same thing with divs too. So we're not actually limited to using span. So you can go ahead and say div. You wanted this to be div, so go ahead and say div. Come to a browser, hit refresh, and now you can see this is a normal text. You can also say div here. So let's say I want to style this div. Okay, go ahead and save this now. Let's just get that right. Okay. Okay, so you can actually see now also here we're having a red text. So this is actually how they work, right? So just go ahead, play around with them and see what you can actually do, or the power of divs and spans and IDs and classes. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for staying to the end of this video. That really means a lot to me. So please, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. Subscribe to my channel and watch another one of my videos, and I'll see you next time.